Today, March 8th, 2025, not only is it International Women's Day, it is also the anniversary of when the Comfort Women Memorial in Bergen County was put up. The memorial is located in front of the Bergen County Justice Center, where the courthouse is located, alongside many other memorials to remember the victims of many tragedies with their memories alive in our hearts. These people will never be forgotten. Today we will be visiting two memorials that CASE has helped put here in New Jersey. The first one is going to be the memorial that's in front of the Bergen County Justice Center, and second will be the memorial that's placed in front of the Palisades Park Public Library. One of the most significant things about these memorials is that these were some of, if not the first, put up outside of South Korea. Having these memorials up not only serves the purpose of remembering the victims and survivors and all the people affected, but also inspired so many others to put up educational workshops, set up their own memorials, and have rallies and other gatherings in remembrance of these women and to demand justice.
오늘 12주년 되는 날입니다. 그래서 여기에 찾아왔는데 사실은 히스토리는 어떻게 세우게 됐는지는 우리 박재진 변호사님이 여기 저희들이 인턴십 2009년도 인턴십을 하면서 이거를 하면 좋겠다 해서 세우게 된 겁니다. Actually, this is the 12th anniversary. Mr. Park, the attorney Park, when he was our staff attorney, he came here. He passing by here because of there is our office, and then he planned. What about in the grassroots activity, and then build up the monument on here, and then finally we. Not only the case, our community, we collaborate and then we established over here.
저희가 2007년도에 뭐가 있었죠? 위안부 결의안이 있었어요. 그리고 2007년도에 여름에 그 결의안이 통과가 된 다음에 일본에서는 당시에 있었던 그 누구였죠? 아베 신조가 물러났어요. 그의 여름에요. 그리고 나서 민주당, 일본에서 있는 민주당 정부가 그때 당시에 심각하게 공식적인 사과를 고려한다라는 얘기를 저희가 듣고 있었어요. 그런데 2008년도 9년도 사이에 일본에서는 좀 정치적인 문제가 있었고, 오키나와에 있는 미군 기지 가지고, 해병대 기지 가지고 일본이 되게 좀 어려움을 겪었었어요, 정치적으로. 그러면서 자기네들이 사과하겠다는 내용을 뒤집었어요. 못했어요. 그리고 그 사람들이 실각을 합니다. 그래서 사실, 공식적인, 일본 정부의 공식적인 사과를 받을 수 있는 기회가 있었는데, 그때 저희가 한참 그랬었어요. 그걸 받을 수 있는 기회가 사라지고 이걸 어떻게 하면 다시 불씨를 살려볼까 고민하고 있었는데, 2009년 4월 달에 제가 여기를 지나가면서 여기에 기림비가 하나 하는 그 흑인 그룹들이 모여서 여기서 행사하는 걸 보게 됐어요. 그리고 그쪽에 와서 보고 거기에 있는 분들한테 물어봤죠. 당신들 뭐 하고 있냐? 그랬더니 자기네들은 여기 지역에서 있었던 흑인들에 대한, 흑인 노예 제도에 대한 사과라든지 하는 기림부를 여기에서 세워서 자기네는 셀러브레이트 하고 있다. 그래서 제가 그거를 그 회장을 만나서 어떻게 만들었는지 우리 좀 가르쳐 달라고 했어요. 그랬더니 거기 있는 분들이 얘기하신 게 있었어요. 이거 만드는데 얼마 걸렸는지 알아? 자기네 한 10년 이상 걸렸대요. 미국에서 벌어진 일임에도 불구하고 지역 정부에서 그거를 허락하는데 너무나 오랜 시간이 걸렸던 거예요. 그걸 공식적으로 인정을 하고 사과한다는 것 자체에 대한 부담이 있었던 것 같습니다. 그때 당시에 그래서 저희들이 뭔 계획을 세웠냐, 그 사람들이 가르쳐 준 대로 저희 인턴들을 동원을 해서 인턴십들이 동원해서 같이 다니면서 서명도 받고 지역에 있는 정치인들 만나서 페티션도 전달을 하고, 그래서 이걸 우리는 이러한 기림비가 필요하다. 그래서 만들어진 게 첫 번째가 팰리세이드 파크에 있는 거예요. 펠팍에 있는 걸 만들었고, 그게 2010년도에 만들게 됐습니다. 그리고 사실은 저희가 만들고 싶었던 건 이 자리였어요. 왜? 이 자리는 버겐 카운티에 있는 모든 행사와 관련돼 있는 것들이 여기 한 자리에 모여 있어요. 네. 그 자리에 같은 동급으로 전쟁 범죄로 인정받게 하는 게 저희들의 목표였기 때문에 그 이후에도 2013년도에 저희가 여기서 다시 만들 수 있게 된 거죠. 네. 오늘 네, 세계 여성의 달이죠. 그리고 3월에 다시 12년 만에 다시 찾아주셔서 감사드리고, 우리가 매년 여기 와서 꽃을 전달하고 잊지 않고 있다는 것을 보여주는 것도 이 이슈가 다시 우리 공식적인 그 사과가, 일본 정부의 사과가 있을 때까지 우리가 잊지 않고 있다는 것을 알려주는 게 아주 중요한 것 같습니다. 오늘 이 자리에 참석해 주신 거 너무 감사합니다. Actually, when it was 2009 April, I was passing by this street. I saw a group of African Americans having a celebration, some kind of event here, and our office was over there. So after parking, I came back and then asked them whether what are you doing here? Because this neighborhood, not many African Americans here. So I just asked them, and then they were saying that they were celebrating a reveal of this memorial, which is about the African American slavery. And I asked them how you could have this memorial here. And then they were saying, don't think about this, don't try to have this, because they took about 10 years to get it. And we ask about how do you do it, and then who has the authority to have this memorial here, and then they told us, the executive of this Bergen County, and then we organized our internship to get the memorial here. We contacted the politicians and county executive, and we had a petition drive in the neighborhood. And then we delivered it, and we could have a first memorial in Palisade Park, because at that time they thought it's better to have a memorial in somewhere the Korean Americans there are located. So they recommended to us to go to Palisade Park. But our goal was in having comfort woman issue, and one of the issue, among here, there's Armenian genocide, Holocaust, and African American slavery, and there's another one is in Irish Great Hunger. So we want to be recognized as the same kind of a war crime. So we wanted to have it here, and then after about 3 years, we could have this memorial in this position. So maybe this is the right place, and it has been about 2 years. I think we simply just having a memorial here, it doesn't mean anything. We need you. We're coming every year or once in a while, come here and memorizing it, remembering it, and then we're sending a message to them who are refusing it. Let them know that we still remember, and then we will try to get the actual apology and the recognition about this by Japanese government. So thank you for coming, and thank you for joining here, and let's do it until they actually apologize for this. Thank you.
We're going to have a moment of silence to honor the people that had to suffer through this and continue to suffer through this to this present day. So let's have that moment of silence now. Lenny, if you'd like.
Yeah. It's incredibly emotional coming to see this Comfort Woman Memorial statue. In fact, it it honestly brings tears to my eyes whenever I think of what happened to hundreds and thousands of women. I'm a late joiner to the movement. My late grandmother was a comfort woman, but due to a very complicated personal history, she was never able to come forward. And it was only about a year before she passed away from lung cancer that she told my family what happened on her deathbed. And I began my career in information technology law. But upon hearing what happened to my grandmother, I decided to become a public international human rights lawyer, which brought me to the US today. And I'm unbelievably honored to be here and to be able to meet the greats, people that have really upheld the comfort women movement here, like Mr. Kim, Mr. Park, and Richard as well. My nephew asked my grandmother what it meant to die, and little children don't quite understand the definition of death. So on her deathbed, my grandmother told us that she wasn't actually dying because she, like hundreds and thousands of other comfort women, would live through these memorials, every law and every new legislative framework in the world that now protects women from suffering the same fate that she once did. So it is because of people like you and activities and movements like this that makes me feel like my grandmother never died and she'll always remain with me and my family. Thank you so much.
아리랑 아리랑 아라리요 아리랑 고개로 넘어간다 나를 버리고 가시는 님은 샘리도 못 가서 발병 난다.
자, 여기 펠세이드 파크에 있는 이 기림비는 사실 처음에 우리 인턴들이 제일 먼저 아까 버겐 카운티 저스티스 센터 앞에다 세우려고 했어요. 그래서 당시 카운티장 데니스 맥너니 카운티장 찾아가고 인턴들이 다 설명을 했는데 카운티장이 거의 설득을 다 못하고 이쪽으로 넘겼어요. 그래서 이 돌은 카운티에서 도네이션한 5,000불. 그리고 이 땅은 이 타운 정부에서 이 땅을 내놨고 요 플래그는 이제 우리가 모금해서 만든 겁니다. 그래서 세계 최초로 우리는 만들었다고 생각하거든요. 이 기림비라는 이름도 우리가 붙인 거예요. 원래 기림비라는 그런 건대에 있는 12.8 때 생겼던 그 기림비가 기림비인데 그 다음에 생긴 이름이 이 기림비입니다. 그래서 도서관 앞에서 처음에는 저쪽에 있었는데 이쪽으로 다시 이제 옮겨가고 잘 보이는 곳에 했고 이거로 인해서 미국 전역에 마뉴먼트 세우는 운동이 일어났거든요. 그래서 곳곳에 이제 한인들이 마뉴먼트를 이제 만들기 시작하고 우리가 이걸 시작한 거는 2007년도 위안부 결의안 이후에 인턴들을 데리고 의회에 갔는데 그때 일리아나 로스레티는 의원이 이제는 로컬에서 이걸 해야 된다고 하면서 이제 박재진 변호사, 머리 좋은 박재진 변호사님이 뭘 할까 고민하다가 시작하게 된 겁니다. 2009년도에 시작해서 2010년도에 1년 만에 세우게 된 거고 그 다음에 2013년도에 세우게 된 겁니다.
This is the first memorial in United States. I believe it is the first in outside of South Korea. I believe at that time we didn't have any idea how to memorize. I mean, how to not forget the comfort woman issue. It is after about 3 years after the House Resolution 121 was passed, and then the Japanese government, they actually tried to issue a official apology by the government, but they because of that because the political situation they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. Their regime, just collapsed, and we were thinking about how we can keep doing it, how we can not forget it. And so one of the things that we had in one of the ideas is in having a memorial so that we don't forget it. And we started in 2009. We mentioned that the African American slavery memorial, they took about 10 years, but it took only 1 year. Our community members all gathered together. We raised the fund. We forced them, the government officials. We presented how we're gonna make this memorial, what the design means, what kind of language will be. After we had this memorial in Palisade Park, and Japanese government tried to remove it, they offered a lot of money. They said that if you remove this, they will donate a lot of money for this small town. And that time the Mayor Rotundo, he rejected it. How we could do it, and then he rejected it, and he was one of the sponsors for this issue. So this whole community, whole town is sponsoring this issue, and then they keeping this memorial in right position, and then they're keeping it well. So this is really a small boulder with a flag, but it means a lot, so that we don't forget this. After this memorial, we have a lot of memorials nationwide in the United States, outside of the United States, and other countries in Europe and Australia. They also had this memorial, so that we can memory. I mean, one time, Miss Young-Soo Lee, when we unveiled this memorial, she personally came here, and then she said that there are not many victims in here. I mean, right now I searched it up in South Korea about 7 survivors, only 7 survivors. When we start this, I believe it was about 50 some survivors were there, but now we only have 7 survivors. What they are really feared about is being forgotten, and nobody remember them, and then nobody mention about them, and just being totally forgotten, and then nothing happened during the World War II. That's what Japanese government wanted to do. And then Miss Lee, she was saying that because of this memorial, she said, it's what a relief we have something after all victims passed away. And then she said that there will be someone who will remember them, and we are one of them who are remembering that. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining here. So maybe next year we can meet together here again. Thank you.
We're not asking for mere apologies. We're asking to make things right. We're asking for proper education of what the actual history is, right? We're talking about acknowledging the past so that we can teach our current for a better future. That's how we go on as a species, as human beings, as decent, civilized human beings. And until we can get there, we're falling short of that. So that's what we're here to remember, that we need to work harder, we need to work smarter, and we need to work together. Thank you. I'm joined here this morning with Kimberly Cruz. Would you like to introduce yourself and also let us know the importance of memorials, what Comfort Women are, and how meaningful all of this was today?
Hi, so my name is Kimberly Cruz. I'm the founder of Kinetic Civic Education, which was formed after misinformation and artificial intelligence was released to our public November 2022. And I published the book, Hindsight is 2020, The True Key to Democracy, to provide the layman's terms of what it means to be in our civic world when our federal government is defunding everything, when AI was going to destroy our communities. But the idea of memorials and why they're important is because people need tangible, physical artifacts to remember their archaeology, their anthropology, the psychology of what people were experiencing at that time in that very pocket of time period that we're looking at. So here, an example is that there's an image of a woman being tortured by a soldier, right? When you think about the comfort women, you have to realize that they were as young as 12. These were young girls. They were not even women at that point. They were getting their periods. They were not understanding what the world was like, but they were getting raped, and some women were getting raped 100 a day. So when I was introduced to the comfort women, I was at Bronx Science, and my teacher, my US history teacher, he actually showed the rape of Nanjing, and we all started crying. And we didn't know that the director of that documentary committed suicide because of the atrocities. Because if 200,000 women were put into sex slavery and is not being recognized like the Holocaust, then we're repeating our mistakes. So to see that as a 26-year-old right now, that we still don't have government accountability, international accountability just happened in November 2023 at the High Court, but we still don't see history being taught properly in the classrooms. And that is an issue. So when we think about memorials, we have to think about why we're doing it. Why are we purposely trying to educate the human population so we can progress with civility at the center of it and not progress with inhumanity at the center of our hearts? This is what we have to fight for.
So now we've concluded our tour of the two memorials today. Thank you to everyone that came. This was a very heartfelt and very meaningful day today. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next year.